All verse, please. מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא אכסר, בנוד שירביצני, על ימי מנוחות ינעלני, נפשי ישובב, ינחני במגלי צדק למען שמו, גם כי ילך וגצל מוות לא ירא כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי, דישנת ושמן ראשי כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. The words of the 23rd Psalm, Psalm of David. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want, giving me repose in green meadows, leading me beside the still waters to revive my spirit, guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through a valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming out. And also thank you everyone at home for tuning in. My name is Rabah Mas from Congregation Shaarey Zedek. And it's both an honor and a sacred responsibility to help us remember and celebrate the life of Evelyn Corrin, Chava bat Moshe vehenia Elka, Zichronah livracha, of blessed memory. Evelyn passed away peacefully, surrounded by the love of her family at the remarkable age of 97. Almost a century of life, a life filled with elegance, strength, devotion, conviction. She was the beloved daughter of Murray and Janie Burns of blessed memory, the loving wife of Jack Corrin for some 74 years, and the cherished mother of Sheila Helper and Al Goods, Rick and Henny Corrin, and of the late daughter Fern of blessed memory. She was the proud grandmother of Matthew, Rachel, Lisa, and Adam, and the adoring great-grandmother of Annie, Whitney, Lila, Charlie, Madden, Ava, Dylan, Brody, Piper, Clark, Nash, and Violet. To speak of Evelyn is to speak of love that was fierce and principled, protective, loyal, and endlessly devoted to her children and grandchildren. If Evelyn believed something was right, she stood by it unwaveringly. As the book of Proverbs says, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. Evelyn embodied the strength and kindness of the Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. She lived life her way, as the family defined it, Evelyn's way. From her impeccable style to her methodical organization and her flawless hosting of parties, Evelyn approached life with intention and pride. She had a passion for music, singing, and dancing, not only as hobbies, but as expressions of her spirit, either by herself or with her beloved Jack. Evelyn also had a deep love for animals, a connection that speaks to her gentle and nurturing soul. And that is why the family has designated Winnipeg Pet Rescue Shelter as the place to honor her memory. So if you want to make any donations, please do so to the Winnipeg Pet Rescue Shelter. So even in death, her compassion can continue. She was a leader, serving as president of Hadassah for several years, showing her commitment to Jewish life and to Israel, and living out the teachings of Pirkei Avot. In a place where there are no leaders, strive to be a leader. Evelyn never waited for someone else to take initiative. She stepped forward and led with dignity and confidence. She leaves behind a legacy not only of family, but of example, an unwavering moral compass, deep pride in her heritage, and love that spanned generations. May her memory be a blessing. May it inspire us to live with intention, to care deeply, to lead with strength, and to love without reservation. May the family be comforted among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Amen. Now, to eulogize, it will be my great honor to call first Rachel on. You go first? You're going to go first? I will call Sheila first on behalf of the children to eulogize her mother.
Sure, and then I'll go. Sure, right again. Okay. Evelyn Corrin, my mother, my mum, my mummy. My mum passed Tuesday, being held in the loving arms of her family. My mum was a righteous woman and a proud Jew. She was a lifetime member of Hadassah Wezo, where she was president of her chapter for a number of years, being involved in many projects for Israel. When Mum was young, She and my grandparents moved to a number of small towns in Manitoba and Ontario, as my grandpa worked for the railway. So Mom would pack up her belongings, change schools, and make new friends. She never thought of it as a hardship, but just did what had to be done. She carried that attitude with her to the end. She was a woman of her times, a stay-at-home mom in charge of all things children. She took her job seriously and mothered my brother Rick, my sister Fern, and myself in the best way she knew. When needed, she could be as tough a mama bear as any. I remember more than once her marching down to my school and making her thoughts known in my defense. I could feel her passion for what she felt was right and what needed standing up for. My mom very much disliked gossip, and I never heard her do this even once. She would remind me, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. My mom loved animals, and they intuitively loved her. She was always the one first sought out by the family pets when we would visit. Even the rescue dogs that wouldn't let anyone else touch them would seek her out. I'm sure they could feel her gentle soul inside. Mom had a lifelong affair with music and dance. She had perfect pitch, and I remember hearing her singing in the house along with the stereo or practicing songs for the Glendale production she was in. And my favorite, when she played a nun in The Sound of Music on Rainbow Stage. We were so proud of her. And of course, the dancing. My parents were beautiful dancers. I loved watching my mom in an elegant dress twirling around the floor. To a little girl, it was magical. She and my dad were married for 74 years. And as stories go, there were good times, their Florida adventures, and our wonderful summer holidays at Detroit Lakes were always part of those stories. And of course, there were hard times too, where they worked together as a team to do what was needed. They were at their best when working on things together. My mother has always been the epitome of what a lady should be. I hope she knew how loved she was and how we appreciated all the different lessons she left each of us. Mom, we'll miss you and we love you forever.
Now on behalf of the grandchildren, I'd like to invite Rachel to eulogize Evelyn.
When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things and then I don't feel so bad. That line from a song from The Sound of Music has been echoing in my mind these past few days because that's exactly what I've been doing, remembering all of my favorite things about my Grandma Ev. The memories, the music, the way she showed up for her family, those are things that make the sadness feel a little lighter today. Thank you everyone for being here today to honor my Grandma Evelyn. Grandma Ev was proud, so proud of her 3 children, her 4 grandchildren, and her 12 great-grandchildren. You could hear it in her voice whenever she talked about us. Her family meant everything to her. Some of my dearest memories of her are naturally full of music. A fond memory from my childhood was when our family would go over to my grandparents' house for dinner, and like clockwork after dinner, my grandfather would pull his accordion out of the closet. My brothers, Adam and Matthew, my cousin Lisa, and I would dance around their condo, banging on pots and pans with wooden spoons, while my grandpa played the accordion and Grandma sang. We marched and laughed and sang and danced our hearts out. It was loud and messy and full of joy. She performed in several local theater companies over the years, including the famous Rainbow Stage, where she played one of the lead nuns in The Sound of Music in the mid-1970s. I always thought that was incredible, and I know without a doubt that my own love of music and performing came from her. In the final months of her life, we found our way back to those songs from The Sound of Music. We sat together and we sang together. Those songs brought us both comfort and joy, and those memories are ones I'll treasure forever. There was an effortless elegance to her. She always had perfectly coiffed hair, beautifully painted nails, and was dressed to the nines, usually in black and white or a bold animal print with a fabulous coat to go with every outfit. I'm thankful for the memories, the laughter, and everything she passed on to me and my family simply by being herself. Her songs will stay with me always, and when life feels heavy, I'll remember my favorite things and hear her voice in every note.
This is from my Lisa. Lisa lives in Australia. I'm sure most of you know. They're online watching us, as well as Di and Joe at 4 a.m. in the morning. Lisa wanted me to read this for her grandma. As I sit here trying to put the words in place, I ask myself, what is it? What is it that was so special about my grandma? What made her so special? And the answer was everything. Everything she did and the way in which she did it. It was so special. My earliest memory of my life was of my grandma in the kitchen in her condo in Jupiter Beach. Grandpa had picked oranges from a tree, and Grandma was squeezing them to make fresh juice, just humming a tune and smiling at me. I love this memory of her. We had such fun times in Florida. It was a care she took to make each one of us feel special. I looked forward to my birthday each year, as I knew we would be having our special day, which included lunch at Bernstein's and a shopping trip to much more to pick out the most beautiful party dress. So beautiful, in fact, that my best friend Marika would be equally excited to see the dress, as she knew she would inherit it the following year. My grandma has been such a huge supporter and cheerleader of my life. Always so proud, the kind of proud you could see and feel. Even when I went traveling after I graduated and brought home an Australian man, she could see I loved him, and that was it. He was welcomed and a part of our family. We shared many walks in the Leo Mole Gardens when I was little, looking at the flowers and sculptures and having chats. Even after I had grown up and moved away, these chats continued often. We have had so many special phone calls, sharing everything from what's going on with the rest of the family or simply just the weather. I cherished all of our chats and advice that she's given me over the years. My grandparents changed my life, and I am so lucky to have had them in my corner all these years. And we always signed off with the same playful little, I love you.
Thank you so much for sharing with us such beautiful eulogies. May her memory be for a blessing. Tehi Zikra Baruch. Let us all say, Amen. I'm going to continue now with the memorial prayer, the El Maleh Rachamim. El Maleh Rachamim Shochem Bameroimim Ametzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kafei Ashechina Vema'alot Kedoshim Kedoshim Uteorim Kezoyer Rakim Amazirim Et Nishemat Chava vat Moshe ben Yaelka She'alecha le'olama Ba'avur Shalom mitpalelim ועד הצקרת נשמת בגן עדן בגן עדן תהי מנוחת לכם בלרחמים Ya astire ella vese derkena Abableu la amim Utzeror bitzror achayim Achayim et nishemata Adonai unachalata Vetanuach veshalom Al mishkava Venomar Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Evelyn Corrin, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And her soul say, Amen. Please join me now in the recitation of the words of comfort, the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabah ve'alma diverach hirutei ve'yamlich malchutei ve'chayechon u'vyomechon u'vechayei dechol beit Israel ba'agala u'vizman kariv ve'imru Amen. Yehe shemer Rabah mevorach le'alam u'le'olmei olmaya yitvarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yit'aleh ve'yithalal shemei dekudesha brihu le'eila min kol virchata ve'shirata tushvechata ve'nechemata damiram be'alma ve'imru Amen. Yehe shlama Rabah min shemaya ve'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'imru Amen. Ose shalom imromav uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'imru Amen. Amakom yinachem etchem b'tov sharav le'tzion b'Yerushalayim. May God bless you and comfort you. And let us all say, Amen. So I have just one quick announcement. That is to let you know that the meal of condolences and the Shiva will be private. And also that before we leave the cemetery, the tradition is to perform an act of kindness, an act of chesed, in the form of putting a little bit of earth on top of Evelyn's coffin. So according to the rabbis, this is the highest level of kindness that we can do for another person. And there is an open invitation to everyone who came to the funeral to take a turn to put some earth over her coffin. So thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you everyone at home for tuning in. Have a Shabbat Shalom u'Mevorach, a peaceful and blessed Sabbath. And I would like to invite the immediate family first to come closer, to be the first one to put a little bit of earth on top of the coffin. We have the white bucket there. It's easier to use. It has a little shovel inside. can work both sides of the grave.
It's in Celsius. Good. So then after she gets things done, she feels better than she thought she would, but it's still sore. The doctor said it would probably 3 days. So she's yeah. Hopefully it'll get good.
I recognize your name, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. You used to go to strategy.
Yeah, I still go. It's not strategy anymore. It's something else, but I still go to the same. I remember
Where is this guy?
he's in Christie's Delicatessen.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Corrin. I still like him. Yeah, he moved in that area. And he joined the Zen physio, and that's a speaking.
Oh, perfect. Good for you.
Good discipline. I've been doing that for 30 years.
You're giving yourself another piece.
From tennis courts up there.
Is there any work in there?
He's doing from the parking. I'm just doing everything together. We should get it soon. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.